Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make tabletop books out of 3 Dollar Tree books, some chalk paint, some ribbon, and I added a little key and some wooden beads for decor on the books. So first I'm going to start out with painting all 3 books. I'm going to take the cover off and just use the white hard part and covering it with white chalk paint. I went ahead and painted all 3 books already. Once they're all covered, I'm going to take a hard brush, which is you can get at Home Depot or a craft store. And I'm going to take my antique wax and I'm just going to brush lightly over the books to give it a old antique look and distress the books. So as you can see, I'm taking the end of the brush and just brushing it very lightly back and forth to give it that distressed old look. And I'm taking a wipe and I'm just wiping down the paint that I just applied to give it that old antique look. I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 3 books. I do get the pages you can get on each side. You're going to get the top of the book. The bottom of the book you're not going to see unless it's going to be the bottom of the 3 books. But the ones in the middle and on the top you're not going to see because you're going to actually glue those books down. So I went ahead and did the bottoms just because if you ever take them apart and you want to use them, I wanted them already done. But if you wanted to do something quick, you do not have to do the bottoms unless you think you're going to see them. So I'm just going ahead and doing all 3 of the books with the antique wax. And again, I'm just applying it lightly to each side of the book. I sometimes even take the corners of the brush and put a little bit on, and I try to get the sides of the books and anything where it would look worn, like if you really were using them. The corners might look old, the pages, so you really want to get those parts of the book. And again, just use your wipe, brush it on, just to give it that antique, old, distressed look. I'm using antique wax from Joann Fabric, but you can find antique wax at your local craft store. I even think like hardware stores sell it now, Walmart. So any place like that should sell it. You can probably get it online too. I have mine from Joann Fabric and I also have one from Walmart. So I'm done 2 so far and I'm going to finish my last one. And guys, this shouldn't take you too long because you're honestly just brushing it on. It's supposed to look messy and distressed looking, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And my books were already white, and they still have these books at the Dollar Tree. They do have a plastic covering on them, and I took the covering off. There was a little red heart on the top of the book that I just went ahead and painted white. But if you can find books that are already white or even brown, it might be easier for you. I have books that I found at the Dollar Tree that were gray, and I picked up some of them too because I'm going to do a gray set. Okay, so now that all 3 books are done, I'm going to look at which one I like the best to put on the top. Now I'm taking black acrylic paint, and I found stickers that I had laying around that I'm actually using as stencils. So I'm just peeling the backing off of the actual sticker and using that as a stencil. I'm going to go ahead and put the black paint on my brush and just lightly go over the stencil. If you have a Cricut, or if you already have a stencil with letters in it, that would be much easier. I just had these laying around the house, so that's what I used. So I decided to do the books with the saying, "Let's stay home." This was a little hard process doing this. I don't recommend using letters. If you have a stencil, like I said, try using that, or if you have a Cricut that you can make your own words with, definitely use that. I do like the ink look, so I do like when it looks painted on rather than using like Cricut as vinyl, because I like to add a little white paint over my letters to give it that old look, and you'll see that as I go on with the project. So right now you can't see, but I'm just stenciling the letters. I'm using a small brush because the letters are so tiny. It was hard to use my sponge. So after I got the first word on let's, I put that to the side and we'll start our next book. I do put the book down just so I can line up where my next letter will start, because you want them to be pretty even. And we're going to finish stay. And the paint dries pretty quickly, so once you're done all three books, you can go back to the let's and apply some white paint over it. And I'll show you how that works once I'm done applying all the stencils to the books. And if you mess up, it's okay. You can always apply the white chalk paint or back over a spot that you messed up. You can take a wipe, and sometimes it will wipe right off. For the most part, you can probably get a lot of it off, and then you can go ahead and paint over it with your white chalk paint and your antique wax, and it won't look like you even messed up. Okay, so I have the stay on. Now I'm going to do the home, and again I'm going to line it up to see where I'm going to start with my H. Put my H on, and once the H is on, then you can put the other two books down and finish the last book. So I do see a little spots that have some black spots that I want to remove. I don't know if I'm going to remove them because again, the look that I'm going for, it doesn't have to be perfect. So you could have spots in different places. I mean, once you're all done, you could see how it looks. But once I apply the white chalk paint over that and make it a lighter black, I don't even think you'll notice it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going on with the rest of the letters. And once I'm done applying the white chalk paint over top, if I feel like it needs to be fixed, I will do so. So I'm going to finish the last letter and do the E. And then hopefully the other two books will be dry by then. So now I'm just deciding on what ribbon I want to use. When I pick out my ribbon, I pick out a lot of neutral colors. I love burlap and grays and like blacks and whites. I like the buffalo plaid. So I try to stay neutrals and stuff that would go with my house when I'm picking out my ribbon. So now I'm just fixing any spots that I feel should be fixed because again, I was using the stickers. A lot of times they don't come out the way you would want them to. So again, I do recommend having a stencil of some sort. But now I'm just going to apply some white chalk paint over my letters. I'm going to use a lint-free paper towel, or you can even use a wet wipe that's kind of almost dry, and put that paint over it and just brush it. And that will just give the black not so dark. It gives it like a light look, in which I'm going for. It almost looks like it's stamped on. And I just think it looks so much better. I mean, again, it's your preference, so if you like it like bold and dark like that, you can totally leave it. I like it more light, on the light side. I feel like it goes better with the books and the style that I'm going for. So again, I'm just using, right there I was just using my hard brush and just applying some of the white chalk paint over it very lightly and then just brushing it off. So I'm pretty happy the way they look now. So now I am going to put it all together. So I decided to go with more of a neutral look, with the burlap. And the burlap I got from the Dollar Tree, as well as the thin burlap ribbon that has some detail on it. I also got at the Dollar Tree. I did get them recently, so they still have them. And what you're going to do is just glue that on. So you're going to glue the books together first. So just put some hot glue on there. You can use E6000 glue too, so it's more sturdy, and then just use the hot glue to set it. I just went ahead and used just hot glue because I didn't have any E6000 glue, and that worked fine. Once you glue all 3 books together, then you're going to put your ribbon on. So you're just applying the glue where the ribbon will be going on, and once that sets, you're going to apply the smaller ribbon on top. You can leave it like that if you want. I liked both ribbons on there. I thought it looked cuter. You might have to add more glue like I am right now. Sometimes the books, it doesn't set right. So just in some spots you might have to add more glue, which is fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the glue for the smaller ribbon. You don't need a ton of glue, especially for that ribbon, because it's a little see-through. So I put it lightly on there. It pretty much will stick. It didn't give me any problems, so you don't need a ton of glue. I had that little key laying around, and I thought it would be cute to add it to the books to give it a little, I don't know, a cute little touch. But now I'm going to go ahead and make my bow that's going to go on top. So I'm just cutting the ribbon I want to use, and I'm just forming X's. So they're going to go on top of each other, just like I'm doing, overlapping. A lot of times I try to use at least 2 different ribbon, and then I'll use Sometimes I'll use a bigger ribbon, but for this, because the books are so small, I just used 2 smaller ribbon, and then I used the raffia that you basically just put it in a big bunch and go back and forth. Put it right in the middle, and you're going to take twine and just tie it. I do a double knot, and once I double knot it, I'm just going to go and cut the raffia on each side because they're loops, because I went back and forth to get a big bundle of it. So you're going to cut those loops and then just spread it out like that, and then you can cut your ribbon the ends to make it look like a bow. I went ahead and did some buffalo plaid in the middle too. I just like that look. You can leave it the way it is, but right now I'm just trimming it down to my liking because I don't want it too big, so I'm trying to get it to be the perfect size for the books. Once you get it to the size that you like, you can go ahead and glue that down. I added a little key, so I'm going to use my twine and just loop it through the key and then tie it to the bow. And right now I'm just trying to place it where I want it. So right now I'm just trimming a little more, and then I'll go ahead and glue it down. I did go ahead and add a little loop of beads to the top of the books, and you will see that in the final picture. So after I'm done, I always go and display my piece that I just did. My style of my home is a rustic farmhouse, so I have a lot of pieces that will incorporate with the stuff that I do. As you can see here, here is the final piece that we just did. I did add some wooden beads to the top. And if you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will be uploading several more farmhouse DIYs. So thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.